the NBA rumors are out there, and the Clippers are a part of the NBA rumors in regards to trade acquisitions. Now there's more rumblings about the Clippers and the Rockets' possible trade acquisitions. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Just a few days ago, there were rumors about the Clippers and the Pacers in some trade acquisition possibilities. And that was the likes of Miles Turner, Sabonis, and I believe Caris LeVert. So when you look at the Clippers and the way they are now and the way they're constructed, they're a good team now. They got a lot of talent now. They got a lot of pieces on there that I think that can definitely be a vital part of them winning. But I mean, it's never a bad thing for a team to better themselves. I mean, even in life, it's the same thing. When a man tries to better himself, don't try to knock him down, because he's trying to get to a spot in life where he wasn't before, and now he's trying to reach for higher heights. And I look at that same mentality with the Clippers. I mean, if the Clippers found a way to acquire some talent that they think that is equivalent to what they have or a little bit better, then go for it. Don't really try to, be too conservative, because it's all about winning championships. It's not about, anything else. I mean, you could like players, you could love players, you can admire players, you can adore players. It doesn't matter. In the NBA or any business, any team, any sport out there, it's about winning championships. And when you look at it in its entirety, the Clippers are due for a championship. Anything less is a bust, because they have had the last couple seasons, they've had the buzz. They've had a lot of notoriety. They've had more and more popularity amongst fans, and they've had more and more hate as a team, going against the Lakers being the face of LA just because of them being looked at as a contender. And when you look at things like that, you have to understand you're in a situation, you're in a position where you can make moves that can get you what you need. And I'll be the first to admit there's certain players on that team that I would like to see stay there. The main core players and, players like that. But when you look at a team play for a whole season, in your mind, you just feel like every player should be there that started that season. They started the season with this player, they should end with this player. And that's just kind of like how the mind works. And you got to understand that's the way it is. But at the same time, it's a business, and it's all about winning, and it's all about putting yourself in better position. Now, with that being said, now there's more rumblings out there in regards to the Clippers, in regards to NBA rumors. Now, between them and the Houston Rockets, there's talks about trade acquisition possibilities. Now, a lot of people would definitely think John Wall would be a part of that equation, because there's been talks this offseason that John Wall was a possibility for a trade for the Clippers before the season started. But now there's different talks. There's talks about Christian Woods for the Houston Rockets in a trade acquisition. Now, I don't know who they would give up for him. I would think if there was a possibility that trade could happen, there possibly could be maybe a Marcus Morris thrown in there. Hopefully not, but maybe a Serge Ibaka thrown in there, maybe a Justice Winslow. I mean, it could be a number of players. I mean, honestly, what we saw the Clippers do last season or on this offseason by trading Patrick Beverley and Rajon Rondo, and basically got back nothing in return in Eric Bledsoe, which I'm not saying he's the worst player in the world, but I don't think that he amounts up to those two players in one person. I don't believe that. So in saying that, they might be thinking in their mind they need to make another trade or two that can help them be more of a contender, because they don't know exactly when Kawhi Leonard's coming back. They don't know whether it's going to be this year. And, they don't know whether or how soon it's going to be. It could be the playoffs. It could be next year. And they have to really kind of plan just in case he doesn't, because they have to be a contender this year. They have to play to that same level. of expectation, even though they don't have Kawhi Leonard. And, that's just the way it is. The fans want more. They don't want less. So you have to find ways to be effective. And you have to be the best team you could be out there on the floor when you're called upon as a player. And as a team, you have to be the best team out there on the floor that you can be and put out the best roster that you can. And in order to do that, they have to, look at other acquisitions. And I know they are, because there's other, name, maybe not big name players, but there's other well-known name players out there that a team like the Clippers can utilize that can help them win. I said Ben Simmons. Let me see who else. John Wall's out there. Christian Woods is out there. Like I said, Miles Turner on the Pacers, and players like that. And like I said, a lot of those I really don't agree with in regards to trading for, but I mean, if the Clippers think it's going to help them win, I definitely will go do it. Me personally, the only one I probably really would trade for out of the names that I named is probably just maybe one or two. I would probably just go with Ben Simmons, just because his versatility. He can play defense. He's the top rated, or one of the top rated defenders last year, all season, when the 76ers had the number 1 seed. And, he can score some. Well, when he chooses to anyway, he could score some. So then you look at somebody like Christian Woods. I think he would be a good fit for the Clippers. I like his energy. I like the way he plays. He can give the Clippers, 17 and 11 a game, predominantly what he's given the Rockets per game, even though the Rockets season was going down. But now it looks like the Rockets are playing a little bit, or should I say a lot better. They had several games they've won back to back, and they've really kind of like, I'm not going to say turned their season around, but they've made their season, a respectable one so far, and that's definitely a good thing. So when you look at that in its entirety, that's definitely a good possibility, or a good trade acquisition I think that they could pick up. Christian Woods is definitely a power forward, I think, that has versatility. And I definitely think he's growing into like a better version of like a Nicholas Batum. And when you look at it from that standpoint, Nicholas Batum early in his career was the same type of player, damn near that Christian Woods is. He's not I wouldn't say he's a better player than Christian Woods is at this point in his career so far, because Christian Woods is on a team where he has the green light and he could score more. And because the team is really not that good, like I said, his green light is different than what Nicholas Batum was. Nicholas Batum, I think, was on the Blazers back then, with LaMarcus Aldridge and, other players. And, he was the young guy, but he was on a team that was already pretty well, that was a decent team. That was a playoff caliber team. Woods is on a team where this team is not a playoff team, and if they do make the playoffs, it would be a miracle. And this team is not going anywhere no time soon, and they've been left for dead since James Harden has been gone. But Woods has definitely flourished and benefited from the departure of James Harden, because he's definitely stepping up and playing a lot better basketball, and he's been playing really good. Every time I've watched him play, I've been impressed by him. Getting good offensive rebounds is definitely an underrated part of his game. Getting those necessary rebounds that you need that can help a team win, getting down, doing the dirty work, sliding over, playing defense, causing turnovers, scoring on the other end of the field, of the court. He's definitely one of them type of versatile players that I think that the Clippers can definitely utilize. So if they made a trade for him, you just hope that they don't give up too much to get him and it doesn't work out, because you don't want to give away too much. Like hypothetically, you don't want to give away Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard, Zubac, and maybe a pick or something like that, which I don't think they have. But you don't want to give away too much for one player, and that player turns out to be injury prone or something like that. Then it's a bust situation, because you gave away a lot of your core pieces that you kind of trust to put it all into one player, and he turns out to be injury prone, or he doesn't play to the level of expectation so that you think that he can once he enters your team or enters your locker room. And that's just not something the Clippers can afford to happen, because right now they're in position to be looked at as a contender, pending on whether Kawhi Leonard comes back and they're fully healthy with everybody on the roster. They're looked at as a contender once he comes back. So you don't want to make any trade acquisitions that are take away from what you have, because to be a contender type team, you need a bench, and the bench that they have right now is good enough to win a lot of games and good enough to win playoff games. They showed that last year. They're showing that this year. They're showing how good of a team they are without their 2-star players in Kawhi and PG, because they won their last 2 games. They're undefeated so far without them, with neither one of them on the floor, along with Nicholas Batum not being there. So now they go into tonight's game against Utah, and they can pull off another upset possibly if Paul George and Nicholas Batum doesn't play. And of course, we know Kawhi is out. But this is what I'm saying. They have opportunities, to be the team they want to be, but I definitely don't, discredit them for looking elsewhere if they can find, some more star power that can give them a better opportunity to beat teams like the Nets or the Bucks or the Lakers or, the Warriors or, any team like that. They have to face them in a 7-game series, because it's going to be tough. Even the Phoenix Suns is going to be tough, even though they beat them the other night. But when Devin Booker comes back, DeAndre Ayton, they're going to be a tougher team because they went to the finals last year. It's going to be even tougher because they got that same mentality, like they can make it back. And I definitely believe that's one of the teams that the Clippers are going to face when they go to the playoffs. I just feel like they're going to face the Phoenix Suns again, whether it's like the first or second round. I feel like that's just who they're going to face, but that's just a theory at this point. But point well being that the Clippers are definitely searching for star talent or searching for more star power. Or when you do that, and when you're looking for more star power, you have to be careful. Like I said, giving away too much to get back very little, and that's just not something the Clippers can afford, because like I said, they're in a position right now to make a run pending on when Kawhi Leonard comes back and everybody's 100% healthy. So right now, like I said, it's all pretty much speculation. It's all possibility, but the notion is out there. The NBA rumors is out there. All-Star break will be coming here soon before you know it, and you never know what can happen. You never know what trades can be, put into place and be implemented. So you definitely want to see what the Clippers are going to do there, and you want to see if they're going to make any trades or any other trades, because honestly, I think one more trade wouldn't hurt them, especially if it's more star power. Or should I say, if it's somebody who, one player who can give them more versatility, and give it to them at a high level. Because I know Nicholas Batum can do it, and Nicholas Batum has been doing it. He's to me, he's their most important role player, if you ask me. But if they had a younger version of a Nicholas Batum, along with Nicholas Batum on the team, you know how much better of a team they would be. So I definitely think Christian Woods would be a really good fit for the Clippers if they found a way to acquire him. I definitely would go after a player like that. And like I said before in my previous videos in the past, if the Ben Simmons thing comes back up, they should look into finding a way to getting a player like that as well, because there again, you're talking about high basketball IQ. You're talking about a player who's unselfish, who definitely likes to pass, and you're talking about a player when he's comfortable, he will shoot. When he's comfortable, and he will score more, and he will be more engaged. And having a coach like Ty Lue can pull the right strings with a Ben Simmons rather than Doc Rivers, who's old and stuck in his ways and is a garbage coach and don't know the X's and O's the way he's supposed to, and which is predominantly the reason why his teams have the number 1, number 2 seeds and fall to teams that they shouldn't lose to, because his coaching is just outdated and he really needs to retire and go home and try to figure out something else to do with his life, because I think his NBA career and life has been dead a long time ago. But that's another story for another day. But I definitely think that the Clippers should definitely look at trade acquisitions and definitely look into it and definitely possibly pull the trigger on one that they feel that can actually help them win, not on some trades that, just trying to get rid of players. Because honestly, in the offseason, I think they were just trying to get rid of Patrick Beverley and Rondo rather than actually trade them and get value back, because Eric Bledsoe really isn't value for those 2 players. One has a high basketball IQ in Rajon Rondo, and the other one has a high level of defense that he can perform and put on, just as he showed us in the playoffs against Devin Booker when he shut that boy down and he didn't even really look like a factor in that series. And Eric Bledsoe is supposed to make up for 2 players like that. I just don't think so. I just don't see it, and I just don't really feel like that was a smart move by the Clippers. But hey, the Clippers organization has made a lot of bad moves, but maybe now going forward, since they have Kawhi Leonard, since they have Paul George, since they have the Intuit Arena coming soon, and now that they have a chance to be looked at as a contender, maybe now going forward they'll make better decisions and better trades as well. But hey, that's my take on the situation. You leave any comments in the comment section. You let me know what you think, as always, and we'll talk about it. And hey, Cali out.